In this video, we would like to answer one of our most frequently asked questions. Why is the color so different? First, let's see what we're comparing it with. If you compare colors on a screen to the way they come out in print, there's always going to be a big difference. For example, if we compare this pink on the screen, when it comes out, it prints just like this. It's a whole lot darker. The same with this blue. RGB blue, and then when it prints on paper, it comes out looking like this. Likewise with that green, notice how the green is a whole lot darker. This is an expected outcome when it comes to printing. This blue, a little bit hard to see, but this blue equals this blue in here. Red, this bright red comes out a whole lot darker. And the yellow is a little bit harder to notice, but a lot of the bright, vibrant color doesn't come out so bright. So people always ask, can you match the color? Even with all of the modern technology that exists, I'm afraid the answer is no. We can't. You can't match what you see on the screen to what comes out in print. So let's just say, in the past, you took your job to get printed at a different printing company. And the result was something like this. And then at a later time, you come and try printing at Printarabia, and let's say your colors come out looking like this. And your first reaction is, hey, why are the colors so different? Well, it's actually, there's quite a few reasons why the color can be different. This blue is CMYK blue. This blue is made up by 4 different colors of inks mixed together to come out making, this is the result. Whereas this blue, it's a spot color blue. This blue is exactly this color ink. They're 2 different things entirely. So why don't you print Pantone all the time? Well, we can, but it's a more involved process. It's a manual setup, you have to, there's just a lot more involved in printing Pantone, which is why, yes, we can do it, but there's an additional fee associated with it. But don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to discourage you from ordering Pantones. If your project doesn't require super bright colors, you don't need the exact color, then CMYK printing is enough. But if your brand or your company branding requires you to use a specific color, it has to be this bright red, it has to be this very vibrant blue or green or whatever it is, then by all means, invest a little money, order your job with Pantone Printing, and we'll make sure your job prints out the way it's supposed to, the way you expect it to. Another reason the colors might be different is because of the paper that was used. If you use white paper, if you use yellow paper, if you use any one of these metallic papers, the end result is going to be different. We have in our paper sample kit a design that's printed on white paper, and if you compare it to printing on a slightly creamy paper, the result is slightly different. So all of these factors also have to do with how your design prints on paper and what the end result is going to be. If you compare this white paper, the colors come out nice and bright, and the same design on a slightly yellowish paper, you see the difference between the two, right? It's the slight yellowish paper, the whole design itself ends up looking slight yellowish. You could see the tones on the skins and particularly food and other things. Paper is not so yellow, even if it's slightly off-white, there's a big shift in the colors. And that all has to do with the kind of paper that is selected for the print job. Bluish or reddish papers, compared to the white, they're going to give you those tones in the end print. So you should, always keep in mind, okay, this paper is white, this paper is slightly yellow, this paper is slightly blue. All of these things are going to affect how the final print comes out. If you select a glossy paper, the paper is going to have a natural shine all around, whereas if you select a matte paper, there's going to be a reduced shine. Uncoated papers like this have no shine. And because they have no shine, the paper is going to absorb a little bit of the ink, and you're not going to get the same tones that you would on a coated paper. Blacks look dark gray, bright colors don't look so bright. Whereas on matte paper, because the paper absorbs some of the ink, colors come out darker, not as bright as the coated papers. Black lines will look a dark gray. If you add a lamination to your paper, let's show you the gloss lamination. If you compare it to a regular gloss, like this one here, the paper itself has the shine, but with a gloss lamination, you get a super glossy finish. So lamination will also affect how your final print looks. So let's say you've got the same data, you've got the same paper, the same size. You want to get the same colors that you printed last time with the same printer. You can produce the colors, right? They're going to be the same, right? Not really. Theoretically, yes, but technically speaking, that's not possible. Things like humidity, like temperature, they all, these two, they affect how ink dries on paper. So you might have, for example, these two flyer designs. We use the same gray and the same orange and the same gray on both of them, and they were printed on different days, but you could see there's a shift in color. And this is an acceptable shift in color. And this is due to, the papers are the same. The data is not exactly the same, but the values, the CMYK values are the same. But you can see there's a shift in color. What's that? It sucks? Yeah, it kind of does. Unfortunately, there's no way to reproduce CMYK colors the same between one print run and the next. Before you go and print your large volume print job, if you've got concerns about color, if you want to know what your design is going to look like on this specific paper, without you okaying the job and then, oh my God, what happened, dealing with it afterwards, we recommend investing in a printed sample. This way you can print one copy of your job on this paper, or testing the colors, or just making sure everything looks the way it's supposed to. And once you get your visual representation of what it's supposed to look like, you can say, oh wait, this isn't my color, let me adjust the data, let me do this, let me do that. You can make all of these amendments before you print your job. So this is why it becomes such a useful tool. The printed sample, there's an additional fee, but it's a very small investment in the long run compared to making sure that your job prints the way you're expecting it to print out. So the bottom line is, the color is always going to be different. Any printer you go anywhere in the world, they have the same kind of problems. The color won't be the same. But we follow the international color guidelines for when it comes to printing. We use special tools like a digital spectrometer. We have a special scope where we check the colors to make sure that they're as close to your data as possible. And if not, we make the necessary adjustments. If you're concerned about the colors not coming out right, or to minimize the risks for your upcoming print job, we strongly recommend you invest in a printed sample. It'll minimize the risks, and it makes sure that you are happy with your print job. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and look forward to seeing you at Printarabia.ae. Bye.